Hi guys, welcome back. So today I have another baking episode. I am trying to challenge myself to learn how to bake. So today I am doing something for the first time again. So I'm going to make it really easy. So I know the holiday season is approaching and many people love to bake pies, especially apple pie. I don't like apple pie personally, so I decided to make these apple rose tarts. So today I am making caramel apple and orange cranberry apple rose tarts. So keep on watching. I am starting off by making the cranberry jam for my tart. You can buy your own cranberry from the store, but I feel like it tastes better if you make it from scratch. So in a pot, I have some cranberries, some sugar, and now I am adding some fresh orange juice. This section is optional, but it makes it more delicious. It just adds a lot of flavor to it. So add some orange, and then we're gonna go in with a little bit of water. And then finally, I am gonna add a pinch of salt to it. And then we wanna cook this on low fire until it thickens. So it might take about 30 minutes depending on your gas, but just cook it on low fire. And then one thing I noticed is whenever you cook this, just be aware that it's gonna pop. It made this weird popping sound, but as it cooks, make sure you scrape the sides because the sugar is gonna stick to the side. And then once it's done, it should look like this. Very soft, very thick. Let it cool down on the side for later. Now for our apple. So you can use any apple, but I am using honeycrisp apple, and find one that's really red. And now we're just gonna cut it in half. Like you want it to be equal parts, like cut it perfectly to be equal. And then just remove the seeds and then remove, I think that's the head, it's something. Remove all of that for both of the apples. And then we're gonna slice our apple so that we can get that nice rose effect later on in our tarts. So you want really thin slices like I'm doing over here. I can't tell you the measurement because I don't know, but just eyeball it and make it thin and nice so that you can easily roll your apples, roll your pie. And then once you're done, it should look like this. So you put it in a glass bowl because we're going to microwave the apples. So put it in a glass bowl, and then we're going to add just about 2 tablespoons of water. And then we're going to add some fresh lemon juice so that our apple won't brown. And make sure you remove the seeds. Like as you can see, I have some seeds in there. I took it out, but mix everything nicely. Make sure all of the apples are covered with the lemon liquid, and then microwave it for about 90 seconds. And then just let it drain out the water, and then let it just cool down before we make our tart. And then for our puff pastry, you can use any puff pastry. I am using Green Wise because they had a sale going on, but use any pastry. Follow the instructions to thaw your pastry, but don't let it thaw out the entire time. Mine said an hour, and this is my second time making it. I messed it up the first time, but I just let it thaw out for about 30 minutes or 40, just enough for me to be able to roll my pastry. And then now I'm just gently rolling my pastry. Be gentle with it. I added some flour because it was sticky, and then just roll it out because we want to have at the end, we want to make 6 tarts, so you want to have 6 strips. So if it becomes sticky again, just add more flour to your rolling pin and just gently roll it. And then when we're done, we're just gonna cut it out. So the first time I cooked it, I made the pie. I actually just took it out of the box, and I just cut 3 strips, and my pie didn't cook nicely. It was very doughy, so I made sure I stretched it out this time. And now I am just using a pizza cutter to cut nice clean lines. Don't use a knife because the knife just ruins the dough. So use a pizza cutter if you have one to cut 6 equal pieces. And then if your dough shrinks as you're making your pie, the ones that you have on the side, just take the rolling pin and roll it out. But as you can see, I have my apples that are drained and cool. I have some dark brown sugar, and then I am using Mrs. Richardson for my caramel. Make sure you use a thick caramel. You don't want caramel sauce, so this is a perfect brand to use. I love it. It is thick and it is delicious. And finally, I am adding some ground cinnamon. The brand doesn't matter, but just do one tart at a time. So I just took 1 pastry, and I'm just adding a generous amount of the caramel. And as you can see, the thick caramel, it just sticks, whereas if you use caramel sauce, it will be runny and it will be really hard to roll your tart. And now I'm just going to add my apple slices. And I just, what I did was I put half and half. So basically half of the apples are not on the dough. I don't know the best way to explain it, but you can see it. And I just layered my apples, and I use about 6 to 7 apple slices per tart. And I just added a little bit of cinnamon, and add as much sugar as you want to add more flavor to the apple, because the apple is sweet, but you want to add more sweetness to it. And now we're gonna roll it. So just gently roll the dough halfway, the other half to cover the tart. Just ignore the way that I'm explaining, just use your eyes to watch. I am trying, but I'm using one hand to secure the apple so that it won't slide out, and then I'm using my other hand to roll the dough so that it will be nice and even and perfect. And that's it, guys. And you want your apple to cool, because if your apple is not cool, it's going to be really hard to work with. And if your apple is not, like, if you don't drain out the water, it will slide out of the tart when you try to roll your tart. Just do the same thing for your cranberry one as well. Just add a generous amount of that cranberry jam. If it's too thick, just microwave it a little. Add a little bit of water and microwave it, and so that you can like easily apply it. But that's it, guys. So I am using a huge muffin pan, and I'm just gonna cook it for 30 to 35 minutes at 375. And when you're done, it should look like this. As soon as you're done, remove it from the baking pan and put it on a rack and let it cool. And after it cools, that's when I started adding some caramel. You can use any caramel sauce that you want, but I'm just adding some caramel sauce on my caramel Rose Tarts. And then for the cranberry, I took some of my cranberry, put in a bowl, added some water to loosen it up, microwaved it to loosen it up, and then I am just going to use a brush, and then I'm just going to paint. This is the best part. I'm going to paint my tart to give it that red rose effect, so that by the time we're done at the end, it will look like we have some, I would say white, but some cream rose and then some red rose. So just put as much cranberry sauce to make sure it covers the top, and when you're done, it should look like this. So I just added some powdered sugar, added some berries for my decor, and then I added some mint to make it look like real life roses, to make it look prettier for presentation purposes. But if you love this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.